Hi there, Christian. It's Andrew here once again. Welcome to your second essay correction. Let's jump straight in and offer you some improvements and some guidance, see what we can do. So the issue of copyright law, what I would say here, my recommendation for this, is to remove the S, because copyright law is the area of law that we are talking about. So law has many areas: contract law, criminal law, copyright law, tort law. There's obviously loads, but we don't need to use the S because we're talking about the area of law. So the issue of copyright law has grown in importance in recent decades, maybe. Despite the tremendous impact with regard to compensation for authors, some limitations for society, I think we need to excuse me. I think we need to separate this sentence somewhat with some punctuation so I can get the context properly. So if you're to say despite, I would expect you to then provide an opposing argument immediately afterwards. So I would maybe separate this into two sentences using a semicolon. A semicolon is used to separate two distinct sentences that are related to one another. Actually, let's reverse it. Let's say, despite the fact that copyright law presents some limitations to society, it permits tremendous compensation for authors, semicolon. Nevertheless, intellectual property protection is a relatively old practice. This essay will discuss both issues using examples from the University of Harvard and the whole country of Australia, really. We need to be more specific than this. And Australia to demonstrate points and support arguments. On the one hand, there is ample evidence to suggest that copyright regulation has significant or presents significant limitations to creative endeavour. This is largely because individuals are limited in what they can reproduce or copy without permission. For instance, it has been discovered by the University of Harvard that only 13% of the global population have access to high-quality materials as a result of a lack of funds to pay for licensing. We need to be clear about the reasons why. Being specific and precise, because we must assume that our reader knows nothing about what we're talking about and that they need full justification for our points. Thus, it is clear that if copyright legislation were not implemented, accessibility to this kind of material would be increased, and resulting positive implications on inventiveness would be felt globally. On the other hand, a significant motivator to create new works is the monetary compensation that authors receive as a result. Authors generally invest significant amounts of time and money in their work, and many would agree that they deserve to be rewarded for this. Indeed, a recent study by the University of South Australia has revealed that copyright producers, I would say that artists or people who create original works invest around 43% of their time in their projects. Consequently, it can be argued that copyright law is strictly necessary in order to encourage people to, this is not the correct word here. I would say copyright law is strictly necessary in order to encourage people, or in order to provide the incentive to produce any work at all. To conclude, from the examples and arguments given, I firmly agree that intellectual property must be preserved, intellectual property protection must be preserved, as it stimulates society to develop high quality creative products. So great structure, good language, but we need some more expansion and precision according to the suggestions I've given you. So with these letters, the most important thing is to consider the tone. We want to identify whether we are speaking to a friend, a professional acquaintance, a relative, a stranger. Are we asking them for a favor? Are we apologizing? Are we just saying hello? Are we telling them something? Here, this is essentially a professional relationship. This is your university. You're in trouble because you failed to attend an exam and you have not yet explained yourself, and it's gotten to the point where the university has had to contact you. So you need to be super apologetic, super polite, and you need to politely request that the situation be fixed, even though it was your mistake. So, here, dear University of Albion, I always use dear to introduce a letter. My name is Cristian Fernandez. I am a second-year student studying a Master's in Information Technology at the University of Albion, and my student number is blah. I would start a new paragraph here. I am writing in regard to a letter I received this morning regarding my absence from the exam on. I would like to offer, remember the conditional for being polite, I would like to offer my sincere apologies. This is IES, apologies. This is apologize, and we want to offer apologies. I would like to offer my sincere apologies as I did not send the medical examination. I would say, I would like to offer my sincere apologies for my non-attendance, but I was completely indisposed on the day in question. The reason is due to a severe fever I suffered on the day of the examination, leaving me unable to communicate with anybody, as I was kept in intensive care in the Hospital of Melbourne, or in Melbourne Hospital. So now we want to offer them some recompense. We want to fix our mistake. So now I would say, here, I have attached the medical records from the day in question to support, we want to say to support my story, but that's really informal. So let's say, I have attached the medical records related to the day in question in support of my case, One thing we haven't done here as well is stated the case number, which will have been on the letter that we received. So we should say that the letter you received up here, the letter I received was case number blah blah blah. So now down here we can say, I have attached a letter from the doctor regarding the day in question, or regarding this case, that confirms my reasons for non-attendance, or that confirms the reasons for my absence. I would also like to request that I may resit the examination, as previously I have shown, or I have demonstrated, a high level of responsibility and commitment, which can be seen in my academic record. Once again, I would like to sincerely apologise for any inconvenience I have caused, and I am happy to take the examination at your convenience, which means whenever you want. Tell me and I'll do it. So because we've already attached this up there, we can just say, I look forward to hearing from you on this matter in the near future. Kind regards, Cristian. Wonderful. Now, it may have sounded like I made a lot of corrections to that letter, but your letter is really not bad. It's quite good, but I would introduce a bit more of the conditional. I would like to be super polite, and expand on the proving why you made the mistake. So you did not show up, you did not confirm, and it has to be a reasonable explanation, which means you have to fully explain your situation and then prove it, which is, it just needs its own section really. But all in all, good job. Get your next stuff in, usual story, and I will speak to you very soon. Bye bye for now, Cristian.